Okay, I'm not sure exactly what's going on with the internet and all that. Like my apps are kind of messing up. They're actually messing up on this phone too. Cause I was gonna try to pull this up on my other phone, but I couldn't get it to pop up. But anywho, hey guys, this is Dashell Rose here. I'm back with a news related video. I actually didn't think I was going to do one here because honestly, I'm kind of just sick of talking about politics stuff and all that. But I wanted to talk about this because I thought this was very interesting here. But we're gonna be talking about Disney in this video, and I want to talk about Bob Chapek. Yes, Bob Chapek. You know that we got the previous CEO, before Bob Iger came back. Well, apparently here we have they're still blaming Chapek for the downfall of Disney. Yeah, they're literally doing this. They're still blaming Chapek for the downfall of Disney. I don't know if apparently this article I believe is Inside the Magic. Yeah, that's what it says up there. So I'm not entirely sure if these people are part of Disney or not. But I'm gonna tell you guys right now, that although Chapek's made his mistakes when he was CEO, he wasn't there very long to actually cause a lot of problems. A lot of shit, that's been going on with the Walt Disney Company, that was Iger. Yes, Iger has done a lot of shit. He's ruined the damn company, and people still think that. People still think he's come to save it. And although, yeah, I will say the stock is up and all that, but honestly, I think that's a bunch of baloney because a lot of people still have it out for the Walt Disney Company, for all the crap they've been making, especially some of the stupid stuff they've done this year, like they, threatened, people if they sue, well, they can't sue somebody because of, they use their products like Disney Plus or something, But let's go ahead and read this anyway, because why not? I'm gonna read this. Maybe they might point out some stuff, that, maybe he's done, but because I've read a little bit of it, but I have not read a lot of it. So here we have Chapek error bills come due. Disney facing $1 billion mistakes ex-CEO made. Again, like I said, Chapek, I'm not saying he was a great CEO, but again, he was only there for 2 years. Actually, not even really 2 years if you think about it, because he wasn't even there for 2 years. Because he came in a couple months, to the board seats and all. He became the CEO of Disney, at the beginning of 2020, so he actually left like a couple months before 2022 was over with. So he wasn't even really there for 2 freaking years. So yeah. But let's see here. We got ever since Disney CEO Bob Iger returned to the company in 2022 after I think it's relentlessly or showing his hand picked success on Bob Chapek. The door Disney has been cost-cutting mode to help lift the company's stock price. Part of that cost-cutting came from Disney's streaming service, which up until recently were net losers for the company. Net losers, huh? Because here's the thing though. I'm gonna tell you guys right now. I think the whole Disney Plus thing in general the numbers are fudged. They're really fudged. There is no way that this platform has and 50 million subs. There is no way it does. I'm like, I mean, I don't even think Netflix has got as many as they say they do. It's just these companies are trying to freaking trying to hide their numbers and all that. I mentioned Netflix too, so this is not just a Disney problem. It's a Netflix too and other platforms, so they can make profit. But especially after that freaking threat that they made, I don't think a lot of people are subscribed to the platform anymore. It's actually starting to get kind of expensive, too. So it's just like, and they're starting to take stuff off of there. I've noticed some shows are going off there and all that. And speaking of shows, and there is a movie. Now I'm not sure about this one. I was seeing something. This could be just this could be fake, too. But basically, there was something on there about, I think it was The Rescuers, I believe. Was it The Rescuers? I don't remember. One of those movies, I think, got taken off of Disney Plus. At least is what I saw. But you can't really see anything until you actually look at it. Since I don't use Disney Plus that much, because honestly, I kind of prefer having their stuff on DVD, because I like to pirate my stuff, and I like to collect stuff too, and not just them, studios in general, that's kind of why I have this stuff on DVD. But, that's the thing, though, I don't really have it on, Disney Plus, but I do know that they do have, this problem where, they've been taking stuff off of there. They don't have everything on there as it is, and all that, so I'm just like, I'm like, again, I'm just like, I don't know, I'm like, again, I don't think they have as many subscribers as they say they do. I'm sure there's people out there that are, that are subscribed to the platform, but I doubt that there are a bunch of them doing that, And actually, if you look at the platform, as I stated in the past, if you look at it, I know I'm repeating myself, but which is why I don't make a lot of these videos anymore, but in this case, I'm doing this because of this article here, but if you look at the numbers, you notice how the Hulu and ESPN kind of add up to the 150 million subs. That makes me think that they're probably using their numbers and just combining it together, so that they're saying on Disney Plus they have that many, which is basically lying. I mean, they do have subscribers on the other platforms, but still, I mean, that just makes it look like you're lying, But yeah, pretty much what I saw too is it seems like ESPN might be going back, might be merging with the platform here soon. We already have Hulu on there, but I think ESPN is going to be joining too. But here we go. We have this too. Thanks to Iger's moves, Disney is finally able to turn a profit on its streaming service as Disney adds an ESPN title. The streaming business seems to be, on more stable ground. Really, because even before Bob Iger was there, the platform, the numbers were about the same. They were, and again, I'm not saying that they're. I'm not saying that they're, that they were at 150 million, but they were still freaking, a lot of subscribers, is what they said. I think it was before Chapek came out. They said they passed Netflix or something at one point, so, and even if you look up the platform, they tend to have more subscribers. So, I'm like, what's your point? I'm like, what's the point? I mean, clearly, Disney, Bob Iger returning has nothing to do with the platform doing better, I mean, he's putting ESPN on there and all that, which, honestly, I think in the long run, I mean, it seems like a good idea, because you don't, why have, ESPN as its own platform, But at the same time, I'm like, why, I don't know, if you do this, you're basically going to, expose yourself to people, because, then there won't be as many subscribers, So, again, I don't know. This whole thing, I think, is going to backfire in their faces. Same with Hulu. They're trying to, they're basically keeping them open, but they're like putting them on the platform and making you pay more for like less content, basically, and it's gonna fucking backfire in their faces. It's going to, you know. I can see kind of like the whole cable thing. Maybe they're trying to be like cable, but considered in the past they've tried to be different things and it never worked out. I don't think this is going to work out. This is probably going to backfire like the other stuff did. But yeah, Bob Iger has not done that. I mean, I'll say he's put ESPN on there, but the platform has already had more subscribers before that, you know. So, I mean, again, he's gonna put the freaking blame on Chapek. It's either freaking the pandemic, it's the writer's strike, or it's freaking Chapek. Yeah, we're gonna blame all three, you know. Instead of taking our own responsibilities, you know, for our actions. Because this shit's been going downhill even before freaking the pandemic even started, you know. Which, you know, was when Chapek became in charge and, you know, when the writer's strike happened too. So, you can't be blaming all this shit on other people. That's the problem. It's always somebody else. It's never Bob Iger's fault. And I mean, in this case, though, this is probably not. I don't know if this is actually the Disney people or not. Well, it says inside the magic, so I'm not entirely sure there. But we also have this here. It says, however, it doesn't mean that Disney, you know, isn't feeling the effects of the Chapek era. The Chapek era was marked by some of Disney's worst box office performances, including Lightyear. You know, in 2022, Strange World, it was also under Chapek. The production began, you know, on the Marvel's 2023, the worst performing Marvel Studios film since Disney bought the company. Okay then. I mean, I will say, yeah, those movies were made underneath him. I'm gonna say that, yeah, they were made under, like, well, they weren't made underneath him, but they were released. But these movies were freaking greenlighted, you know, under Iger. Yeah, Iger greenlighted these damn films. You know, they were greenlighted under him. So again, he's fucking blaming Chapek for all the shit, you know, he's done. You know, and all that. I mean, if he wants to fix the company, it's fine, but he's not really fixing much. He's more so, like, again, he's blaming, you know, somebody else, you know. I mean, people have done bad things. People have made mistakes, you know. If you learn from your mistakes, that's one thing, you know. But if you, like, try to not learn from them and make, you know, and blame it on somebody else, then, you know, it doesn't make you a better person. But yeah, these films were like, I mean, Lightyear, for example, yeah, that film was, that was probably Pixar's worst receiving film. That one is bad. That was a bad film. But that was you know, that was greenlighted under Iger, though, because, you know, it takes a couple of years for the movies to, you know, be released. And, you know, because of COVID and all that, you know, they had to push it back. So, I mean, COVID kind of affected some of this stuff, but that's the thing, though. They're not going to blame COVID on that stuff, but they'll blame COVID on other shit, you know, that got pushed back. So, I don't even think they know what the hell they're talking about. They're like, it feels more so like the company is trying to, like, again, they're pointing fingers at everything except for the obvious. And the obvious is, the major people behind the companies, you know, do not know what the hell they're doing with some of this stuff. And I will say that their movies have done well this year. But again, these movies were probably greenlighted under Chapek as well. I do know Deadpool and Wolverine. That movie was in production. Like, they started working on it, I believe, in 2020, so, you know, and they actually had some problems with the film, you know, trying to get it off the ground, you know, so, you know, I'm not saying Chapek was innocent here, because Chapek could have freaking just canceled these films or redid them, you know, instead of, like, airing them, because, like, Lightyear, like, he could have freaking, like, not aired that film, but that was greenlighted under Iger. Iger greenlighted that film, you know. They already announced they were going to make it, you know, and all, and they, And usually before they announce something, they usually have to, like, get the process of making it. So yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, it's pretty much kind of what they've been doing. They're blaming everybody, they're blaming Chapek and all that for this stuff and not Iger, because Iger was the one who greenlit this shit in the first place. And then let's see here, it says, Iger seems to have Disney back on solid ground after he shifted 2024's release schedule. Disney is a verge of having three $1 billion films, with Moana, 2 on the verge of breaking the $1 billion mark. Disney also has an outside shot at the fourth with Mufasa, The Lion King in 2024, which will be released later this year. By later this year, you mean like 2 weeks or something from now? I think it's being released on Christmas week. I can't remember, but I think that's when it's being released. And I will say yes. Like I said, that the movies have done well this year. They've done well, but those were also greenlighted a long time ago too. They greenlighted those a long time ago too. So yeah, you mean basically they that's what they've been doing. They're like, they're pointing out, how the movies have done well this year, and yes, they have, but it doesn't mean the other years with Chapek have not done well either. And I'm not saying that, again, it was that great, but that's where my point kind of comes across here. Basically, they're gonna have a few good movies here, and it looks like it's gonna pretty much go back down to the ground. Yeah, next year does not look promising for the Walt Disney Company. It does not look promising at all. It looks like it's gonna be another disaster for the company. Another disaster, because a lot of the movies that are coming out there are live action remakes, or they're sequels and stuff like. I mean, I think Zootopia 2 might do well. I mean, Moana 2, although the movie has made money, Moana 2 also has received poorly, kind of like a lot of the films in 2019. Remember that? A lot of the films in 2019 made all this money, but the films were horribly received. I mean, Frozen 2, that was a mixed bag. I don't hear as many people hate the film, but a lot of people just don't think it's that great. I think it's okay. I haven't seen the film yet, so I can't really say. Now, Toy Story 4 was a sequel. A lot of people really hated that film. That's something that's still kind of split on people's opinions to this day. I hated the movie. I hated it. I don't know if I would say it was Pixar's worst movie. I would say Lightyear's the worst, but I don't know. Pixar has had some bad movies, but that one was bad. I didn't like what they did with the characters and all that. It was sad. And then we had the live action Lion King movie people did not care for. We had the the Dumbo live action movie, we had that. I've heard the Aladdin one, wasn't too bad. But my point is a lot of these movies have hit $1 billion, but were not well received. And I'm thinking this now. I don't know if they can do this or not, but I'm thinking they might try to fudge the numbers. And because what I think is going to happen is, I've stated this that I stated that Moana 2 was going to be the last, well-received movie, and then it was going to hit downhill from there. But apparently, no, I guess Moana 2 was not a great film. A lot of people didn't like it. Some people thought it was okay, but I've been reading reviews and all that. A lot of people did not like it. Because it was supposed to be a TV show, but got turned into a movie at, last minute, so they had to, redo all that. So I'm just again, I don't agree with, again, people praising Bob Iger and all that. And then the whole thing is the layoffs having to make cutbacks. I mean, Chapek was gonna do that too, but Bob Iger came in and basically did the exact same shit. He threw a bunch of people overboard and all that. And I mean, he's also said he was going to sell off assets. Yeah, he literally said that. It felt more like he just said that because Nelson Peltz was up his ass. Surprisingly, Nelson Peltz has actually kind of gone quiet, and I don't know. I think it's probably because I think Nelson Peltz is like, you know what, like, I'm not going to fight it because I'm in my 80s and all that, and it takes years to like course correct this stuff because there are celebrities, and famous people that have lived a long time, but in his case, though, he probably was just like, it's not worth fighting for, I kind of wish he kind of kept fighting, though, because he could have probably brought people that are younger into the company and maybe course corrected it. Because at this point, there's no course correcting. I feel like what they're doing here is, I think they're going to probably cut back on some of the woke stuff, that they've been doing with, or I don't know, like, if you would say woke or not, but like the problematic stuff, like they're pushing, stuff into films and all that, like they're pushing, like gays and all that, and, all the time, like every film's gotta have a gay thing in it, or a gay person or something in it, or it has to be like lesbians or something, like that kind of stuff. It feels like they're kind of gonna push that back, like by the looks of it, but I don't think it's going to be. I think it's not going to be enough. I think they need a huge course correction, and some of the stuff, like I've said before, they need to sell off some of these properties. Disney needs to sell off some of this stuff instead of throwing your employees overboard. The people you call your family, and they're part of the Disney family. Again, like I said that before, they're Disney family until they don't need you anymore, and they just freaking toss you aside, like yesterday's garbage. And that's the thing, though. That's the thing, though, better, too. It's, that's the thing, though, with that, I'm like, I feel like, that they need somebody completely new in there and all that. They need to fucking just oust Bob Iger. That's the thing, though. They pushed Chapek out the door. They pushed Michael Eisner out the door. But they can't push freaking Kathleen Kennedy or like Bob Iger out the door. These two people are just freaking awful. Bob Iger is a guy who runs his, he doesn't run his mouth, I guess, as much as Kathleen Kennedy, but he more so, he lies. He lies all the time. He says he's going to do this or that, and he doesn't do it. Like I said, he was going to sell off some assets of Disney. He has not done that yet. And all that. If he does it, then it's no longer a lie, but so far he has not done it yet, so I'm just like, stop freaking blaming other people for your misfortunes and do something about the company, Show that you care, You don't seem like you care about the company. You care more about yourself, It's really sad, but, here's something I will say that I think I kind of agree with here on this, but still don't agree with Bob Iger on this either. It says, the results of the Chapek era are still being felt. Disney's live-action Snow White 2025 movie has yet to hit theaters, and if fans' reactions to the previous incidents, its box office, it won't be good. Okay, here's the thing there. Yeah, I think this film was probably greenlit under Chapek. This film, I think, was pushed back a bit farther. I think it was, at least. The thing is, though, here's the thing with this movie, with the live-action Snow White movie. So, I'm going to say this. The reason why the movie's not going to do well is because you rewrote the damn story. Like, you can say all you want that, this is our plan all along. People have found footage of, this stuff online. They found pictures and all that, and you can say maybe some of them were photoshopped or fake. But we've heard stories about, them saying about, we've heard stories about people saying, that the whole, that there wasn't going to be dwarf actors. They were going to be like fantasy men or something like that. I can't remember exactly what they said, but then now it's dwarves and all that. So they're CGI'd in and all that. So they basically, I think, had to redo the entire film. So they weren't even going to do the same thing. and all that, and then basically, and then they, like, and then they basically take away, they bring that back, but they still have freaking, I believe her name's Rachel Zegler. Yeah, she is a freaking horrible witch. She's a freaking witch. I mean, she literally, like, shits on people and all the time for having their own beliefs, and all that. And if you voted for Donald Trump, you're a horrible person and all that. And I'm like, it doesn't mean you're a horrible person. I mean, shouldn't say anything because I voted for Donald Trump, but I didn't really care for Donald Trump either. But I'm like, I want to vote for somebody, who, well, the media is like hiding the other side of, the pile. So I'm like, why should I believe what the media says if you're gonna freaking hide, hide one side or the other aisle? Because like that's what they've been doing. They were hiding comments and they were like censoring people and all that. So I'm like, why should I believe what you say? I mean, they did the same thing with my mask. Yeah, I did a whole video on talking about my opinion on a mask. I wasn't being a horrible person or anything, but they turned the comments off because it apparently violates, YouTube's, thing there. And that's the problem. A lot of these, platforms did this crap. So I'm like, I want to vote for the side, that I'm like, because I don't know what to vote for, Personally, in my opinion, I probably wouldn't have voted for at all. Honestly, I'm kind of just sick of politics. I don't care about politics much in general, but my dad is a very political guy. He's very obsessed with politics and all that. And I wanted to vote because I'm like, I want to have like my opinion without somebody telling me I can't have my opinion because I didn't vote for something, But yeah, basically though, that's the thing though. I will say though, that the whole thing was people blaming Donald Trump or I mean, it's one thing to have your own opinion, but like trash on people who have theirs and all that, or not just trash. I mean, they do this on both sides, I've noticed, but it's more so on the side, it's more on the side, with people, again, like people are not Trump supporters and all that. But I've seen some people, not saying a lot of people, but I've seen some people say, you have your calling people idiots who vote for Biden and all that. And I'm just like, I wouldn't call someone an idiot for voting for somebody. I will say it's foolish of somebody to vote for a Biden twice after we've seen him speeches and all that, it feels like they're not, actually watching the debates, because, I didn't even want to watch the debates because they were bad, but that's, again, why I don't care about voting, because I'm like, I shouldn't be voting if I can't watch the debates, but, I mean, I can, but I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to watch them because they're freaking boring, and again, they did the same thing on ABC News. They were like, it felt like they were freaking questioning, Harris and not Trump, I mean, Trump, not Harris, I meant to say, I said that backwards. But I guess my thing kind of stopped here, there we go, I think I'm back on track now. But yeah, that's the thing though. Again, that's the thing though. I'm like, I don't really care about politics. I don't even like talking about it much on my channel, but I will throw my opinion out there sometimes, but I usually just don't care about them. But because, you got people in these companies that are literally shitting on, people's opinions and all that, and calling them horrible people and horrible names because they voted a certain way, not just Trump supporters, but the other way too, because, there are people who voted for Kamala Harris that are trashing on people, and then there are people who voted for Trump, and when he lost the other election, people were calling people names. But I don't know. I'm just let people have their own opinions. I mean, I know people out there who have their own opinions, can vote their own way. I have friends like that, and I don't trash on them. But yeah, I don't know, but it's just ridiculous. But anywho, enough about the Snow White thing, because yeah, I think that movie's going to bomb, and that's not because of I mean, I'm sure like making a live action remake of if anything is going to be bad, but the fact is that they are remaking the movie, and and all that, and they're like they have a horrible person and that's being playing Snow White. Yeah, I'm like I don't want to watch the movie. Screw that. I've even had people, like, I watch it before I do, like, go about the Snow White movie. I'll say this. I've had people, like I've seen people on YouTube and all that have, bashed on people before for not wanting to watch the movie because they race swapped, Snow White. And I mean, I don't want to watch it because I just don't care. It's not about really race swapping. It's just I don't want to watch it because I don't care about live action remakes. I've had a YouTuber, I'm supporting him again, but honestly, I'm kind of divisive on him because honestly, he still gets kind of critical about things. Even with we had the whole thing with, there's the movie next year. It's going to be How to Train Your Dragons, 1. They're remaking a live action movie there. And I brought up the whole thing about them race swapping, Hiccup's girlfriend. I think her name's Astrid. I think is her name. For the movie, and I'm like, I kind of like. The thing is, though, I don't like them race swapping the characters. I'm like, I kind of want them to match the original, Yeah, I don't really like them, doing that, So, like for example, Aladdin. Aladdin works because they painted, Will Smith to blue. I think they either painted him or they photoshopped him. I'm not sure, but they made him blue because the genie is actually blue, and I'm like that matches the character, I mean, I'm not want to go into too many details about this stuff, but I've had people like that, and then he gets kind of salty about that too. In the past, I mean, he was even kind of shitting on people about Snow White and all that, and I think he's probably one of those YouTubers that kind of kisses, to Disney's butt, honestly, and all that. And I don't really like that. It's one thing if you want to support a company, but then when you trash people and all that, that's another thing, But I'm just like that. I mean, he's not doing it as much anymore, so that's kind of why I'm supporting. But he still kind of gets salty with people's opinions. I'm like, I don't know. I don't really care about that much, but I don't care about that in general. Even with Nickelodeon, I'm a huge Nickelodeon person, but I will admit they have problems too. I mean, we had the whole thing where they with the whole Dan Strider thing, how it took them years to freaking fire his ass and all, even though there was tons of reports coming out of there. And all that, of him doing stuff. I mean, you could say the same thing about John Lasseter, but, John Lasseter, I don't know, but they still weren't, I think, very clear about it in what I've heard. There's people coming out saying, I guess, now that maybe, he's, touched people and all that, but Dan Strider was, really aggressive, with people and all that, working with him and all that, and, yeah, it's very weird, and even some of the stuff, you can see his stuff, it was kind of weird, but, yeah, I will admit there are problems there too, but still, I'm just that's the thing, though. I don't like, I would go trashing on people, who hate Nickelodeon, but, because I do know some people who do not like Nickelodeon, but I'm just saying, I can throw my opinion out about Nickelodeon, but I won't call people names or something on that, but I don't know, we got more stuff here. I'm trying to see how much we've got here. Not a lot more, actually. We got comments down there, too. Okay, and then we have, and let's see, and then there are the issues with the streaming service Disney's pumped billions into getting Disney Plus off of the ground, and now those bills are coming due too. Okay. So I guess they're saying the streaming platform and all that, the bills are like being due and all that, like. So I don't know, like I don't know about that part. I don't know if I'd blame Chapek all for that, because I'm sure there like I'm sure there are other people that are like part of that too, but with Chapek though, yeah, I will say the platform it made money and all that, but I don't know if I would say it lost a bunch of money either. So what makes it look like is they're trying to say that he wasn't paying the bills or something. I'm not really sure. Like, I'm really not sure exactly what's going on there. Like, that's kind of confusing there. Maybe this will say something. According to a recent Forbes article, Disney spent nearly $1 billion on 4 shows for Disney Plus: Loki, Secret Invasion, Andor, and the Actor Light, I think is what it's called. The 4 shows have a 52% score on Rotten Tomatoes, which are dragged down by the horrible ratings of the Secret Invasion and the Actor Light. Okay, so I guess they're saying that he overspent on money, and yeah, I will say that. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, Chapek spent they when he was in charge, they'd spend a lot more money on content than they should have. Honestly, in my opinion, I think what Disney needs to do, they need to just shut down Disney Plus. I think they need to just shut down Disney Plus and go back to freaking Netflix. I feel like this shit is not going to work. I feel like they're trying to push people to people to their platform and all that. The problem is you're only going to get so many people and all that, and especially after you guys threatened, people for suing you because they own a certain platform, I want to clarify to this woman that this guy was with, who I think they were married, died. Yeah, died from an allergy. So you're saying you can't sue somebody for dying because of a freaking platform. That's fucking bullshit. I'm sorry, that is bullshit. I shouldn't be saying something like that, but it's bullshit. I'm like, these are your audiences here, and I'm glad you don't fucking care about, people's health and all that. Technically, they didn't even need to get involved with that. They didn't even get involved with that at all. Basically, they could have just stepped away from that, or they could have been in the core and be like, well, we weren't in charge of the whole restaurant thing and all that. That was somebody else that did that. Apparently, there was somebody that did hack the system and all that, and did try to kill somebody with another set of food, but. That right there was not Disney, and even that was like somebody else, and even if it was like the other incident was not, and they totally tried to threaten somebody there for suing for owning a platform so yeah, clearly that probably hurts your numbers too. I think Disney Plus is going to keep losing money. They're making some profit on some of their shows, but they don't have a lot to offer. And it sounds like they might be cutting back on Star Wars and Marvel shows. Of course, I don't remember if Chapek said this, but Bob Iger has said this. Bob Iger has come out and say, they were going to do this, I think a couple years ago when he came back. Actually, by a couple years ago, last year. They said they were going to do this. They said they were going to do this. They were going to, do all this, and then they never did. I think they just said that because Nelson Pulse was fighting with them, and now they're sounding like they're going to try to do this again. So they're actually going to cut cost on streaming and all that, because I'm not sure if they're going to do that. My problem is, though, too, is because they're spending so much money on this damn content, I'm like, what are they going to do, with the long-term goal? Because now they're not going to have as many shows to watch because they rely so much on freaking, shows like they rely on so much shows like Star Wars and Marvel content. What are they gonna do? I really don't know. But we have this here too, saying all 4 shows were greenlit under Chapek, hoping to attract customers to Disney's streaming platform. Exactly how many people signed up for Disney Plus strictly for those shows is unknown. However, not even a million, viewers watched Secret Invasion during its first 5 days of release. Okay, so yeah, that's definitely a very low number, but it's not. These are not the only shows people are not watching. These are not the only ones that are watching. There's other shows too people are not watching and all that. Like, I think they had a movie come out. I think it was I forget what it was. It was a Lucasfilm movie. It was not Indiana Jones or Star Wars. I forget what it was. I don't hear people talk about it much, but it did horrible too. They actually took it off the platform because it didn't do very well. And then there's other shows I think that came out this year, like Star Wars, because they keep making Star Wars shows, but they're not doing very well. So yeah, I don't know. I think again, like I've said before, I think they're them blaming Chapek for this and all. And yeah, I will say probably some of these were greenlit under him because some of them were probably last minute things. Because making a TV show is kind of different than making a movie, but some of this stuff's already was made before that, and they already had this stuff made before that, and like with them, like I will say, if it's just a buck wild, I think that movie was definitely greenlit under him because that was a last minute thing. It was going to be a TV show too, then they turned it into a movie, and all that. But that's the problem. A lot of these shows are just not doing very well. But it doesn't mean there aren't shows that did well under Chapek too. Some of them, like Mandalorian, that was actually a well-received show. Of course, they did bad after season 3, but it started off very well, and I'm just like, again, they're blaming all this shit under Chapek, and I'm like, they're not blaming Bob Iger. Bob Iger, like you're not looking at the past. You're not looking before COVID-19. Remember all those movies, like I mentioned in 2019, all those movies have done really bad. All of them have done bad. Well, not all of them. I guess they made a lot of money, but a lot of them were horrible received and all that, and they were not. They made a bunch of money, but yeah, they did not like them. They did not like the movies and all that. So yeah, they did not like the movies and all that. So they did horribly, like by audience scores. And then we had and then as I stated, we did have the pandemic and all that. But a lot of the movies that did horrible were already greenlit under Iger before he left. But because of the pandemic, they had to push it back. So yeah, as I stated though, you're not looking at the past there and all that. And you also notice too how, remember Disney fucking also acquired Fox in 2019. They acquired Fox, which they spent fucking way too much money on that. And remember, Iger was part of the whole thing with Lucasfilm. Remember Lucasfilm when they bought that? Like they had a deal with George Lucas to write the sequel trilogy. They ousted him. They didn't oust him. They gave him the fucking middle finger and told him they'll do it on their own, which pissed off George Lucas, and it showed the results as the movies fucking bombed. And Star Wars has never been really, back on profit since. We've had some good shows, like I mentioned, The Mandalorian, which that show was greenlit, I guess, technically under Iger, and all that. It was, but I'm just like, again, you can't just look at Chapek for all this too, because even like movies that are coming out now, they can literally cancel the damn Snow White movie. Like, if they know it's gonna fucking bomb, just fucking cancel it. Cancel the damn movie. Just cancel it, I'm like, we've seen other, other, studios do this too, And you could say maybe they've gone too far in production, to actually cancel it. But the thing is, though, they could still cancel a damn film, especially with Rachel Zegler in there and how horrible of a person she is. But I'm just like, I'm just like again they're basically just blaming like everybody. Well, they're blaming like everybody except for Bob Iger, which, like I've said, has been in there for a long time. And yeah, like I said, he overspent on Fox. He got Hulu and all that. But honestly, I'm like, why didn't they just fucking use Hulu instead of using fucking Disney Plus to, if they were gonna buy out Hulu eventually anyway, they could have just fucking used Hulu to use their platform. That would have been a smarter idea instead of fucking, creating a whole nother platform to make money, which seems to me not working out too well, because they have some shows coming out, but like I said, they're not doing very well and all that, so yeah, but then we have down here, I think this is the last of it. Yeah, this is the last of it. So we have the actor and the Secret Invasions cost Disney $432 million to make it, and have a combined 30% score of Rotten Tomatoes. While Loki and Andor were slightly more expensive, the two shows were hits, spawning a second season. Luckily for Disney, the Chapek era is over, even if the damage it has done is still being paid for. Yeah, so you're talking about the damage being done. You mean the damage, again, that, like I said, Bob Iger fucking did? You're talking about that? Because Chapek, as I say, Chapek was just there. Chapek was only, there to, he was basically fucking the hamster. He was the fucking hamster. They were only fucking using him to get to, get them through fucking COVID. And then, because how, like hamsters or something, how they move around and all that, and basically, they move around. Sometimes they could use them as like lab assistants or something, or even mice. He was kind of, let's say Chapek was the mouse, to get to the cheese. Basically Chapek was the mouse, to get them through fucking COVID, which COVID was the cheese for them, and they got through COVID and all that. But they're still fucking blaming Chapek, and I'm telling you guys right now, this it's not gonna fucking get better. I mean, well, it might get a little bit better because I think they're gonna be forced to fix some of the woke shit. But a lot of this shit was already done before that. I mean, Star Wars, for example. Like I said, they bought out Lucasfilm and they made Star Wars movies that didn't do well. They say they did well, but again, Disney's known for hiding their numbers. Even Chapek, was part of that too. But they did that. They basically, did the whole thing with the money and all that. They tried to like hide the numbers and all that, and it ended up backfiring in their faces and all that because the movies are just being talked about all online. I think they've actually discovered that they actually are fake numbers now. And it's kind of how it, again, this is kind of what they've been doing forever. Even with the stock going up, I'm sorry, there's no way the company is at a 116 million subs. Or not 116, I mean 116, stock. Sorry, I'm thinking of the platform. I'm not thinking of the stock. The stock is what I was thinking of. But yeah, sorry if I'm talking a bit too about all over the place here. I'm just like I'm tired, like I did not sleep well last night, so I'm gonna try to go to bed earlier tonight. But I just wanted to kind of share this because I'm like this is kind of what I'm talking about. I'm like you can't just blame one person and all that for all this shit, and especially the shit you started and all that. And like I've said, that them buying out Fox, or aka Bob Iger buying out Fox, really fucking destroyed the company because that was way too much money, and they're losing some licensing problems. They're losing licensings and all that. So like, for example, we had the Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, those were, well, actually, I don't know if those were ever, like, actually part of Fox, or not, but they technically don't have them anymore. There's some other movies that I think were under Fox that are no longer are, and, I'm not sure about Family Guy, but I think Family Guy actually, might be licensing too, because I was trying to figure that out, but they're not actually explaining, it very well, but I do think they have a licensing with Fox, because Fox Corporation, I think, still owns part of Family Guy. So I'm not sure if they have a deal with them or not. I'm not sure. But again, I'm just like, you can't fucking blame, one person for the other, because this shit's been going downhill for years now. But I don't know, this video is taking way too long anyway, but I just wanted to share this article because, again, I think it's funny how the mainstream media is still freaking blaming, Chapek for all the shit, even though Iger has, done plenty of shit himself and is still kind of not correcting a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, basically he's there, he's there, talking, well, he's there, basically he's there, and the whole woke stuff is kind of going down a little bit, but I think even Chapek, I believe, said that too. He was going to try to get rid of the woke stuff and all that. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure. Like if some of these movies that were done well this year were actually because of Chapek or because of what? Because like I said, the guy was only there for 2 years. But that doesn't mean he didn't do his fair share of stupid shit too. I mean, he's the one who talked about the animations for kids and all that. But I'm like, compared to what Iger has done, yeah, I'm sorry, I can't really say that and all that. And Disney World and all that, it's still getting really expensive. It's really expensive as hell. They keep removing attractions and all that. And speaking of Disney World, remember the whole lawsuit the whole lawsuit they had with the government and all that up there and all that. They actually lost. Yeah, they actually lost. They lost the to that, and Iger actually was trying to push it more, even which Chapek didn't do anything. Chapek was trying to back down on it, but he didn't do that. And again, that's the thing though. People are blaming. They're blaming, a lot of the things they blame Chapek for, I'm like, Iger's doing right now, so you could say maybe it was already going too far and they couldn't stop it, but they could have freaking stopped it. But they wanted to freaking drag it out more, so they tried to freaking get their damn lawyers and all that, which was stupid of them because, it's a freaking government. You can't just it's going to be really hard to freaking fight the government unless they're actually doing illegal shit, which the only thing I think he did, the only thing the guy did with the, whole government thing in Florida was, he did interfere with Disney's, Reading Creek problem, but still, that wasn't really, I mean, and to be fair, they weren't really paying their fair share of taxes and all that anyway, but I don't know, I'm just at the point where I just don't freaking care anymore about this stuff. But I just wanted to point it out because, I'm like, this is kind of something that they've been doing, but I just wanted to share this video, but I'm going to go ahead and probably, let things go from here, though. I am sorry this video is a little bit different. I don't usually go on the articles here, but because my Instagram thing's been screwing up, I kind of have to do that. But anywho, see you guys later. And we'll see where all this goes down the road, I guess. Anywho, bye-bye.